Deep shadows of weariness can be seen on Abelard's face, though the old officer's eyes are keen. They rake over you from head to toe. He frowns, mutters something, then nods to himself. Well then, your lordship. You cannot help but notice that the seneschal does not know how to talk to you or where to begin. His hesitation brings an involuntary smirk to your face, as though someone else entirely is gloating at the old officer's confusion. Seeing your smile, Abelard pulls himself together. You must now hold your first officer's briefing in your new role as Lord Captain. For many of those who are about to join us on the bridge, this will also be their first briefing. We sustained massive losses among the senior and middle-ranking officers. Some posts have had to be filled by the deputy's deputy's deputy, while others go unfilled entirely. And now the deck clans are deciding who will take over the leaderless crews. I don't understand how this could happen, Abelard. Didn't we have contingencies for this sort of disaster? It appears the heretics were deliberately targeting the vessel's command. They knew exactly whom they were looking for and where they could be found. Which is unsurprising, given that their informant on board was our own Master of Whispers. Abelard grimaces. Very well. What is on the agenda for this meeting? Reports on the condition of the ship and crew. The Lord Captain is not usually drawn away from her important affairs to attend such routine briefings, but this is a unique situation. I'm still receiving updates from across the ship, and they are not encouraging. Getting this bird to fly could take a gargantuan effort, even so far as you personally negotiating with the authorities of the system we are currently in. So prepare to hear a bevy of complaints and excuses, your lordship. Take this opportunity to get a good look at the officers who work 6 decks away from the bridge, and they in turn will have the honor of beholding the visage of their new Lord Captain. Understood. Summon the officers. With a gesture, Abelard relays the order to the adjutants at the far end of the magnificent chamber. A dozen pairs of eyes bore into you, the expressions revealing restraint, joy, curiosity, and wariness. Attention officers, you've been granted an honor. Lord Captain Retcon von Valancius will personally conduct today's briefing. Our most gracious Lord Captain is ready to hear your reports. Abelard, would you be so kind as to introduce those who are present? As you wish, your lordship. Abelard points to a tall, slender woman whose body seems to contain as many implants as it does flesh. Vigdis Suri Atta of the Ptolemy line, our new Voxmaster. It is an honor to serve, your lordship. The Voxmaster offers a deep bow. Aboard this vessel you have at your command thousands of crew members and hundreds of officers and section chiefs. I am responsible for receiving, processing, and sending all communications between you and them, as well as external sources. I am your eyes and mouth, Lord Captain. Beside her is Raivor, the Master Helmsman. He steers our ship along the course set by the Lord Captain, and monitors the void around us, to ensure that we do not stray into an asteroid field or a pirate trap. The bearded man with pale, almost transparent skin, large dark circles under his eyes, and a dour expression that seems hardwired into his face, gives a sullen nod. Hail, Lord Captain. This here ship's as good as home to me, so rest assured she's in safe hands. I'll die before I let her come to any grief. And lastly, our high factotum Janris Danrock, who oversees supplies, procurement, and general material well-being of the ship. Dressed in an embroidered jacket, the heavy-set man with oiled hair offers an obsequious smile and bows. It is an honor, your lordship. You may trust me with all matters concerning your comfort. Everything will be done to the highest standard. In the second row, we have the 3 officers charged with overseeing the ship's vital functions. The Master of Ordnance is responsible for the artillery aboard, the Infernus Master, whose crew work to prevent and extinguish fires on the ship, and lastly, the Engine Master, servant of the Omnissiah. The 3 officers salute you. The Infernus Master does so with confidence, while the Master of Ordnance betrays nervousness. The Engine Master offers a salute resembling a dance, involving the complicated manipulation of all the Tech Priest mechadendrites. And this is everyone? This is all the officers? Unfortunately, our choir master, the esteemed Zachary Wise, head of the Astropath section, is unable to join us. He is in charge of communications with distant star systems. Master Wise has been in a trance for some time now, attempting to contact other planets in the Von Valancius Protectorate and inform them of Lady Theodora's passing, and Conrad Voigtveer's treachery. I will deliver a report to your lordship on the Astropath's progress as soon as it is possible to do so. All others present are adjutants, secretaries, and deputies. They are here to make a record of the proceedings. I see. Well then, I suppose we'd best begin. Infernus Master, report. What fires are there that have yet to be extinguished? Yes, Lord Captain. The tall young man bows his head in deference. I can report that all fires across all decks have now been extinguished. The preliminary damage assessment, in terms of material losses and crew casualties, has been completed. The results have been submitted to the Seneschal and the High Factotum. The post passed to him after the previous Infernus Master and his next 3 deputies expired in the line of duty. Abelard remarks in a low voice pitched for your ears only. The lad is managing well so far. He can take the heat, so to speak. Yeah, thanks, Dad. High Factotum, report. We are toiling day and night to compile a full account of the losses. The task will require next to no involvement from your lordship. I will personally ensure that all damaged components are given into the Tech Priest's hands for attention, and that all lost supplies are replaced. There is only one resource that I cannot replenish single-handedly, and that is people. We've lost more than 2,000 crew members, and unfortunately this number is confined to the scum from the lower decks, which are easily replaced, but also includes trained professionals. We will be able to make up our losses on the nearest planet, Rygad Minoris. However, the planet, the whole system in fact, belongs to the Winter-Scale Rogue Trader Dynasty. We cannot simply begin recruiting on the planet without first coming to an understanding with the governor. In that respect, I am powerless. Negotiations at this level are a matter for the Rogue Trader. Especially true given Caligos Winterscale's penchant for attacking first and asking questions later, and the kind of thick-skulled thugs he usually installs as governors on his planets, rumbles Abelard, frowning. Of course. I'll take care of it. Engine Master, report. A voice distorted by a Vox retranslator emerges from under the Tech Priest's scarlet hood.
Lord Captain, the foes that set upon this noble void ship destroyed the repositories of hundreds of machine spirits. The great warp engine entrusted into my charge is unharmed, thank the Omnissiah, but its spirit mourns its dead brethren. We have not yet identified a prayer protocol capable of assuaging its sorrow and anger. With great sorrow, I must also report that the chief engine seer, overseer and spiritual authority of all tech priests on board, fell in battle. The Magos was betrayed by the little detestable flesh that remained part of him. A most terrible loss. There is no one among my comrades aboard whose experience and comprehension of the sacred protocols equals that of the fallen Magos. We require a replacement, and as soon as possible.
Yes, of course. I don't suppose anyone could paraphrase that report for me. The ship's most senior tech priest, most senior both in rank and in experience, is dead. If we do not find a replacement, we will be unable to resolve the problems with the warp engine, answers the Boxmaster instantly, without even thinking. This is clearly not the first time she has acted as an interpreter between the ship's various inhabitants. Yes, of course. I knew that. I was simply testing to see if you did as well. You passed. Helmsman? Right you are, Lord Captain. To cut a long story short, the outlook is bleak. The ship's sound, more or less, but without our chief engine seer and navigator who fell in battle, we have no way out of the system. If we try to set so much as a toe inside the warp, I don't know what'll happen first. Our warp drive being torn to pieces, or all of us melting into the bulkheads. Oh, good. Your Lordship, if you will allow me to interject. When we arrived in this system, my crew followed standard protocols and conducted a count of all the available communication channels in the region. One of them was a Navis Nobolite station. The station maintains complete Vox silence. But even its presence here inspires hope. To have located a navigator in the very same system is an incredible stroke of luck. A true blessing from the God Emperor. Yeah, funny how that worked out. A sharp bolt of pain lances through your skull as if in response to what you just heard. You understand that it is not the God Emperor you should thank for such good fortune. The words of the daemon that appeared before you during the translation to real space echoes in your mind.
I am the wheel of the weaver of destinies, and today I will weave a new thread of elusive possibilities and fickle chances. The thread that will lead you out of the maw of irreversibility.
Yes, that is what I was referring to. Thank you, narrator. If I were you, I'd grab this chance with both hands, or else you'll soon be eyeing up asteroids to use as your new residence. In slightly less shitty news, we can go round and round this system till our heads are swimming as long as the promethium and supplies last. And if any thick-as-grok shit lowlives come sniffing around, we'll be able to take them out. So don't worry on that score. Well, that's something at least. Master of Ordnance, you have something to report? The Master of Ordnance gives you a gloomy look. No, my job's simple. Maintain the arsenal and fire where I'm told. But just ask anyone. We've got no able crew, no Lord Captain. Master of Ordnance, you forget yourself. So what? Comes the officer's hostile and bitter reply. It's as if a dam has burst inside and all his pent-up emotions are rushing out of him. The ship's in ruins. Every second officer's dead, and now we've got a green Lord Captain who's supposed to lead us to void knows where. Silence! The bridge's magnificent glass panes seem to tremble under the force of Abelard's roar. Enforcers, seize this mutineer! Abelard grunts. If only one officer out of the whole lot has fallen to pieces, then that's not bad at all. Your Lordship, I do humbly apologize on behalf of the entire crew. What would you have us do with the Master of Ordnance? The former Master of Ordnance, I should say. Besides, find a replacement, that is, for we already have one lined up. Ooh, and we get to make a choice. And honestly, I've got to say, if I were choosing strictly for role-playing purposes, I'd probably go with number 3. That would be a nice way to show some leniency while also not undercutting Abelard's authority. But, you know, I mean, we're already kind of leaning into the benevolentia path. Stand down. Release him. I have no intention of punishing a man for a moment of weakness. Not after the terrible attack that we have all just endured. Abelard stares unblinkingly at the Master of Ordnance. Cease your sniveling. You disgrace yourself and your entire clan. Enough. The hysterics are over. Let us resume. The Master of Ordnance stands up, wiping the blood from his broken nose. His face is the picture of shock. What just happened seems to be dawning on him only now, in the knowledge of the fate he so narrowly escaped. So, to summarize your reports, we're out of immediate danger, but we've sustained serious losses to our crew, both the rank-and-file scut workers as well as our engine seer and navigator. Precisely, Lord Captain. But bear in mind that this will not be the end of our trials. The ship is in need of serious repairs which can only be carried out at Footfall Station, home to the only dockyard in the sector. But we will never reach Footfall without first solving these 3 immediate problems. Indeed. And what can you tell me of the system that we currently find ourselves in? I cede to the Voxmaster on this point. Mr. Stolleman? We are in the Rykad star system, and our voyage here was undertaken on the orders of your lordship's predecessor. There are 3 inhabited bodies in this system, and our attempts to send Vox messages have produced confounding results. The Navis Nobilite station has not simply failed to answer. It seems to be maintaining total Vox silence. However, we did receive a distress signal from the prison planetoid in the system, and Rykad Minoris itself is also not responding to our hails. But what is most alarming is that our augurs have intercepted signals from the surface that seem to indicate ongoing hostilities on the planet. This situation is not very encouraging, but without a navigator, a tech priest, and new crew members, we won't be able to travel anywhere. Therefore, we must go to the planet and the Navis Nobilite station and find out what in the void is going on. I see. Thank you for your reports. I will consider our next course of action. Dismissed. The assembled officers salute as one. Your lordship, there is one other thing. A confidential matter of the utmost importance. Lady Theodora... Abelard hesitates. Your eternally esteemed predecessor brought the ship here to this system for a reason. She was given a secret commission. You perhaps are wondering who has the authority to commission a rogue trader to do anything? And I shall tell you. The Lord Inquisitor, the hand of the Emperor, the chief architect of his will in the Coronis Expanse. Yes, I came across a peculiar letter on Theodora's desk that was signed XC. I assume you refer to the contents of that note that I have clearly read. Yes, quite right. XC. Xavier Calcazar. Lady Theodora was to seek out the Lord Inquisitor's right-hand man, one Heinrich Sven Kalox. An interrogator, you understand. All I know is that he was somewhere in this system, that we must find him and offer him whatever assistance he requires, and then deliver him to Footfall in the Furibundus system. Finding him without any more information to go on will be difficult indeed. But an Inquisitor is an important individual. The authorities in the system, either the Navis Nobilite or the governor of Rykad Minoris, may know something. That is all of it, your lordship. You have a great deal of work ahead of you, but it is a mere taste of the daily burden of a rogue trader. Soon you must take up the reins of the Von Valancius Protectorate. Abelard gives you another scrutinizing look, as if trying to gauge how long you will hold out under this mountain of problems. His face softens slightly, and it seems he's about to offer some words of encouragement. Adira, Sister Argenta, explain yourselves. The Sister of Battle grimly nods toward Adira. The Psyker has suffered some ailment, or dark madness. She insisted on seeing the rogue trader. I judged that it would be unwise to leave her unsupervised. For a brief moment, Sister Argenta's voice sounds hesitant. I was also hoping to approach you with a personal request, but it can wait. Talk to me when you'll have time, rogue trader. Adira's mutant eyes rove over those assembled. One word bursts from her lips. Daybreak. Adira, you're not making sense. What are you trying to say? Damn it. Adira presses her fingers to her temples in desperation. Your lordship, here's the thing. I was trying to see the immediate future, and it hit me so hard. My head is still spinning. Something very strange is heading our way, and I can't make out what it is, no matter how hard I try. A single word is all I can make out. Daybreak. Or maybe it's dawn. And it's ringing and ringing like an echo. Like a bell. We cannot extract any information of value from a single word. Can you tell us anything else, Mistress Tomasz? No, not yet anyway. The voices are going berserk, all shouting at once. I can't make any sense of it. As soon as I know or sense anything, I'll report it. All right? Very well. If there is nothing else of value to report, I declare this briefing concluded. Let's get to work. And once again, they cut us loose. Nice. We're now left to our own devices, with a few leads on what to do next. That's it. We've got some time left. Let's hit the pause button real quick. I'll collect my thoughts and pick a few little things for us to take care of before we wrap things up today. We'll be right back. And we're back. Sadly, we don't have enough time today to jump into any of the really major stuff, but we can knock out a few minor things on our to-do list. Starting with a letter that I clearly read before, but, you know, just in case you missed it, let's touch on it again. Handwritten letter with a seal. Esteemed Theodora, a change in circumstances has demanded your immediate assistance in our mutual cause. Forthwith upon receiving the letter and performing the necessary preparations of the crew, you are to depart for the RICAD system. One of my agents, Interrogator Heinrich van Kalox, operates there at the present time. Upon your arrival in the system, you will, without delay, make contact with him and offer any assistance required of you. After which you will provide him passage to the Furibundus system aboard your ship. On footfall, the interrogator will remove himself from your presence to await further instructions. Anticipating any questions you may have, I will stress that the nature of Interrogator Van Kalox's activities on Rykad Minoris is of no concern to you. If required, Van Kalox himself will disclose the details of his mission. May the Emperor's light be with you. XC. Interesting. Okay, so still pretty vague, but we do get the general gist of why Theodora came here. And of course we get some name drops. We get Heinrich von Kalox again. Not to mention XC, Xavier Calcazar. I've actually had a few viewers suggest it might be the Inquisition that's behind Theodora's assassination. Though if that's the case, then I have to wonder why they would have done it before she rendezvoused with Heinrichs. Though of course the letter could be a deliberate misdirect. I suppose we'll have to wait until much, much later in the game before we get some concrete answers there. For now, we'll just focus on what's on our plate. And first things first, let's see if we can rack up some extra points of benevolentia. We actually did this back in the alpha, but I've been told it bears repeating. A thin, pale woman stands out among the rest of the crew. There's a thick bundle of cables coming out of the back of her skull and disappearing under her ceremonial garment. And you see the grate of a quietly humming vox where her mouth should be. The woman sees you and bows her head in a respectful greeting. How may I serve you, Lord Captain? Voxmaster, connect me to the vessel's main channel. I wish to bolster the morale of my crew. The Voxmaster nods obediently, then presses several switches on the device she is holding. It is done, Lord Captain. You address the crew with a rousing speech, and hear your voice roll through the ship, reaching even the normally quiet corners of the vessel. When the broadcast ends, you hear distant shouts of approval. But no benevolentia. I was told that would give us a few points, but I guess not? Yeah, I guess not. Weird. Okay. Well, whatever. We still got 7 XP out of it, I suppose. Let me just check our feed here real quick. Right, yeah. Okay. So we didn't get anything out of that. That +2 was from sparing our Master of Ordnance. Fair enough. Only took a moment, so no harm done. What are we, Oh, yes, right. I wanted to talk to Argenta next. Let's go see what her personal request was. I think I know what it is, but I just want to be sure. Sister Argenta looks tired. There are dark circles under her eyes. Her hair is somewhat disheveled, and she moves like she's a little on edge. Rogue Trader? Sister Argenta, you said you had a personal request for me? I indeed have a request, Rogue Trader. The accursed servants of chaos who assaulted this ship took the lives of your loyal crew members, and they orphaned many children, including the progeny of the brave officers who defended their posts until the bitter end. I don't know what customary practices there are for cases like this in the Von Valancius territory, but in the world I'm familiar with, the children of such brave souls could expect to receive some special consideration. Perhaps the Rogue Trader could meet with the orphans? Oh, this is not what I was expecting. Right, because her personal quest doesn't come up until after we meet her patron in Act 2. So this is her personal quest for Act 1. Interesting. Okay, yeah, well, I would definitely love to check this out. Let's see, Very well, I will meet with them. No formalities needed. These are the children of people who gave their lives for the Von Valancius dynasty, after all. This is the least I could do. I will pass on your instructions. Thank you for taking my request to heart. Yes, I'm fantastic. Think nothing of it. Oh, and we're actually going there. Nice. And we have actual children. That's, The motley group of children and adolescents don't take their eyes off you, gazing at you as if you were a creature straight from a fairy tale. Our indefatigable sister has been keeping an eye on these pups. Abelard glances at the gathered children. It is hardly the skull of progenium in here, but we have provided the orphans on our ship with adequate care and instruction. Argenta is standing to the side of the group, next to the youngest visitors. You notice her giving them looks and inconspicuous gestures of encouragement. At your approach, she perks up and announces, her voice ringing. Brave ones! The master of this ship has appeared before you, the one who guides it through the darkness of the universe by the Emperor's will. Greet your Lord Captain, the Rogue Trader of House Von Valancius. Well, given our audience, I think we can skip the speech. Your Lord Captain greets you, brave ones. The children keep staring at you. A little girl who has remained close to Argenta smiles uncertainly. A skinny pale lad tries to throw his shoulders back and stand at attention like a soldier, and several other children follow suit. Only a few teenagers at the far end of the row seem sullen and not particularly impressed. Suddenly, all the sounds in the module are drowned out by a very loud sniffle. It has the effect of a dam burst. You now hear whispers, sobs, and subtle grumbles. One of the older orphans, a teenager with a thin scar across his face, tosses his head back and says bitterly, "So what? Why should we care? Our friends and parents died in their dozens for you noble lot, and you just give us speeches." Argenta quickly turns to the boy. The flurry of emotions flashes in her dark eyes, like she wants both to calm him and scold him for his impudence. I mean, I can't be cruel to grieving kids. You clearly have something to say. Speak, and I will listen. The boy smiles grimly, not at all like a child. It doesn't matter what we say. It won't bring our parents back. And it won't change our fates either. We'll keep slaving away on this ship until we drop and die like our folks. Or worse. I mean, he's not wrong. There's not exactly a lot of upward mobility for the average inhabitant of a void ship. But, I feel like telling him that he should be opportunistic is just setting us up for trouble. And obviously, again, I don't want to come down too harshly on grieving children, even surly teens. When the pirates who killed your parents attacked the ship, I was there. I took command. I fought and I repelled the assault as quickly as I could. But no war can be won without losses. You can only strive to do what is within your power. You heard the rogue trader. His words carry the wisdom of the Imperium. Yes, thanks, Argenta. It's hard to say whether or not your words have left an impression on the boy, but he nods slowly. Then he catches himself and gives you an awkward bow. Abelard gives a sign, and servants immediately emerge carrying packaged treats with Von Valancius emblazoned on the wrappers. It appears that the Seneschal came prepared for any contingency. Oh, nice. Well done, Abelard. Argenta rubs her temple pensively. She smiles at the younger children, offers a few more words of encouragement, then leaves the bay. And I guess that's it. Obviously not the most exciting event, but it was interesting, especially since we're not really going to go into it here, but if you speak with Argenta, she pretty quickly draws some parallels between herself and the situation of the orphans. She herself was an orphan as well, who received a similar gift, I suppose, a similar acknowledgement by one of the Sisters Superior at the order she ultimately ended up joining after the loss of her parents. So it draws a parallel between her own past experience as well as what she feels is the appropriate course of action with these children who are undergoing a similar youthful tragedy. Okay, so that pretty much clears our plate as far as minor tasks go. At this point, we just have the 3 major ones, which I believe are the 3 main prongs of the remainder of Act 1. Much like in Act 2, there's 3 main missions that we have to complete in order to progress to the ensuing act. Though, of course, I imagine that the quests here are much shorter and simpler than the ones we went through back in the beta. That took us like 30-something episodes. I imagine we'll be done with this in like 10. Oh, wow, and look at that. It looks like the sector map has gotten an even heftier overhaul than dialogue or combat. That is nice. That said, I'm still getting set up after the move and all, so we'll have to cut this one short. I know it makes for a talkier episode, but that's just the nature of these CRPGs sometimes. We'll hit the pause button for now. I will pick out one of these 3 locations to hit, and I'm sure we're in for a much more action-packed episode next time. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Revenant, Alois, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, Theory V23, EgonAlter, Emile, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Kazorm, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Rowan Church, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.